Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Former WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley posted an NSFW message on social media ahead of Monday Night Raw. It was in response to an unusual remark from a popular star. Earlier today, former WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax shared a video of the Eradicator using her pretzel pin on her to secure the win. The Irresistible Force joked that she would be getting a pregnancy test done after her match last night. Rhea Ripley also took to her X/Twitter account to break character and shared an NSFW, yet hilarious, reply. The 28-year-old posted a "when the test comes back positive" gif as her response to Run with Nia Jax's joke. Former WWE superstar shares his take on Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez's in-ring work. There has been some talk about Raquel Rodriguez's in-ring work after WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash opined that the one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions should not work herself down against much smaller opponents. However, several other veterans have recently claimed that Rhea Ripley is also guilty of doing the same. Speaking on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Outlaws show, former WWE EC3 pointed out that he was a fan of both Ripley and Rodriguez. The 42-year-old noted that he did not want to be critical of the two stars. The veteran explained why Rhea and Raquel might feel the need to play down and make their rivals look great. "I don't want to be critical of Rhea or Raquel, 'cause I am an avid fan of both of them. But working down is something that they probably feel they have to do to make other people look good. 'Cause sometimes, as a professional too, we want to make someone like, there is an honor in making somebody look good," he said. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez have also locked horns against each other on multiple occasions, with the most recent being at WWE Night of Champions. The two competed in a highly engaging Riyadh Boulevard street fight. The Eradicator emerged victorious despite interference from Roxanne Perez. It will be interesting to see when the two stars go up against each other again. The locker room was unusually quiet that Sunday evening. Monday Night Raw was less than 24 hours away, but for Rhea Ripley, the Eradicator, the Nightmare, the real show had already begun. Sitting cross-legged on a black leather bench in the Judgment Day's private locker room, Rhea tapped her phone screen with a devilish smirk. She'd just finished an intense workout, sweat glistening on her arms like war paint. Her phone buzzed with message notifications, fans, management, Dom's goofy memes. But there was one thread that had her full attention tonight. It was with none other than Randy Orton. The Viper. The Apex Predator. A man who needed no introduction, a former multi-time WWE champion who had made a thunderous return just weeks ago after months on the shelf. The WWE Universe had welcomed him back with open arms, but Rhea Ripley welcomed him back in her own unique way. Earlier in the week, Randy had made the mistake, or perhaps the calculated risk, of saying, in an interview, that the Judgment Day's days were numbered. He'd singled out Rhea by name, too. "She thinks she runs Raw," he'd growled into the mic, his voice dripping with venom. "Let her try to run her mouth when I'm done with her precious poise." Rhea loved a good fight. But she loved a good mind game even more. She scrolled back to their last exchange, a brief, sarcastic back and forth after Raw went off the air last Monday. Orton had passed her in the hallway, stared her down, called her princess with that cocky smirk. She'd fired back with a low growl in his ear, "Watch your back, old man." Tonight, she decided, was the night to crank the dial to NSFW. She lifted her phone, took a quick selfie, no title belt in sight, just a glistening neck, a sly grin, and a hint of the tattoo trailing her collarbone. The photo was suggestive without crossing the line, perfectly scandalous to stir the Viper's blood. She typed, "Careful what you wish for, Randy. The Nightmare is always watching. And waiting. Sweet dreams," devilish face emoji. She attached the photo, hit send, and leaned back against the wall, laughing under her breath. Meanwhile, Randy Orton was halfway across town at a quiet steakhouse, celebrating his early return with a few close friends. His phone buzzed on the white linen tablecloth. He picked it up without thinking, then froze mid-sentence as the preview of Rhea's message lit up the screen. He raised an eyebrow, turned the phone face down, and excused himself to the restroom. Once inside, he locked the door, leaned against the sink, and opened the message in full. The photo. The words. He chuckled, a dark, amused rumble in his chest. "She's got a death wish," he muttered. But deep down, he respected it. Rhea wasn't like the others. She knew how to play with fire, and that made her dangerous. Orton typed back, "Careful, princess. I bite. See you tomorrow. He didn't add an emoji, that wasn't his style. He pocketed his phone and washed his hands, staring at his reflection in the mirror. The Viper's eyes were alive with a spark that had been missing for years. Raw was about to get a lot more interesting. The next day, the backstage area buzzed with rumors. People whispered about Orton and Rhea passing each other in the halls, two predators circling. Dom tried to pry about what had Rhea grinning like a cat with a canary. She just flicked his ear and told him to mind his own business. At production meetings, the higher-ups pretended they didn't know about the heat building between the Nightmare and the Viper. But they did. And they loved it. Ratings gold. Twitter would eat it alive. That night, the arena lights dimmed halfway through the show. Randy Orton's music hit first. The unmistakable guitar riff sent the crowd into a frenzy. He stalked to the ring in his hoodie and trunks, coiled and ready to strike. He grabbed the mic, soaking in the chants of RKO. RKO. He lifted the mic to his lips but didn't get a word out before the Judgment Day's theme cut him off. Rhea emerged first, clad in black leather, boots clanking against the steel ramp. Dom and Damian flanked her, but they hung back, letting her lead the way. She stopped at ringside, eyes locked on Orton. There was a dare in her stare, the same dare she'd sent last night in that photo. Orton leaned over the ropes. "You got something to say, princess?" he sneered. Rhea lifted a mic of her own. The crowd buzzed. She raised her free hand, tracing an invisible line down her neck. She smirked. "Randy," she purred, her voice dripping with mock sweetness. "I said sweet dreams, didn't I? But maybe you'd rather stay awake." The audience gasped and howled, a collective ooh that reverberated through the arena. Randy tilted his head like a cobra testing the air, lips curling into that sadistic grin. He dropped the mic and launched himself at the ropes. In an instant, he was outside the ring, nose to nose with Rhea. Dom and Damian bristled behind her, ready to pounce, but Orton ignored them completely. Their eyes locked, no fear, only the thrill of the hunt. The tension wasn't just about brand supremacy anymore. It was raw, primal, dripping with something more than rivalry. A beat passed. Then, with a flicker of movement, Orton stepped back, almost like he was bowing. He mouthed two words only Rhea could see. "Your move." The Nightmare just laughed, a deep, wicked laugh that made even Dom shift uncomfortably. Backstage, chaos erupted. Social media was already exploding with speculation. Was it mind games? A power play? Something more? Fans posted screenshots of cryptic tweets. The memes came fast, the Viper and the Nightmare, who bites harder? Rhea Ripley knew exactly what she was doing. The game had begun, not just with Randy Orton, but with everyone watching. Raw had always belonged to the Judgment Day. But now, maybe, just maybe, it belonged to her alone. And as for Randy Orton? Well, the Viper had been coiled too long. He was ready to strike, just waiting for the Nightmare to close her eyes. Tomorrow, the headlines would say Rhea Ripley crosses the line. But tonight? Tonight, she'd redrawn it entirely, and dared Randy Orton to follow her into the dark. One thing was certain, Raw would never be the same.